Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Okay, let's talk about resilience. Now, resilience, of course, is being able to, it's being a duck in water and having things roll off your back. It's the ability to stay the course even when you don't want to, right? Resilience is very much tied to consistency. Resilience is everything, and resilience is the strand that holds together everything it is that we want to do. Without resilience, we can't accomplish much. So I checked out, there's a guy named Ross Edgley, and he's an award-winning adventurer. He's done all kinds of ultra marathons and swimming and things like. He's just a big physical beast. You should see this guy. I mean, he's a beast. He has abs that look like a washboard. And you just know that this is and just built, right? And this is from all of his endurance sports, and this is from staying the course. This is from being able to overcome adversity and suffer a little bit through all the things that he was doing. But he's best known for swimming around Britain. First one to do this. He broke all sorts of records. And the swimming that he did, it was 1,780 miles in 157 days. All the way around Britain. Can you imagine? That's a long haul. Of course, immediately I'm thinking, Diana Nyad, but a guy. but the guy version. But he also wrote a book called Get the Art of Resilience. This is how I found him. And in it, there's several lessons of resilience made talking about building a resilient body so that you're resilient to all the merciless training that they do. But I found in it several things that I thought, boy, we could take this to the bank and really, learn our lessons. I think athletes, more than anything, can really teach us about resilience. They can teach us about consistency. They can teach us about doing hard things even when we don't want to. And, I always look for somebody who is able to do things that I can't yet or that I aspire to do. And when I see an athlete, especially athletes, especially an older athlete, especially Diana Nyad, I love her, love me some Diana, but there's always a lesson. And these lessons in resiliency are things that we need to hear, especially when we cave so easily. I mean, I don't know about you, but I do at times. So what I did was I pulled together from his book 7 lessons that he had. Now he's got 11 in his book, but some of them don't apply. And I've adjusted this to fit what our particular needs are right now. You ready to go there? Let's do it. All right. Lesson 1 is we don't get to control what happens to us. We only control what happens inside of us. In other words, our response is wholly ours. We're the controller of that. And there's no way on God's green earth that that's just left to chance. We have an opportunity to be a part of what this response is going to be. Now, if we do an analysis and we figure out, man, that response is just all over the place. It's just not good. I don't like it. We can shift the way we practice our response by simply journaling. This is an athlete who chose to journal. Journaling helped him to work through some difficult parts of being able to then say, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I am able to get into the water. And in 157 days, I will swim entirely around Britain. Now, hear me for a minute here. You know what's interesting about this whole thing is it wasn't that he just prepared his body, he also prepared his mind. And for us, I think oftentimes we think which is totally a mistake, but we think that we have no control over the way that we respond. Yes, we do, 100%. We, unless we have some kind of physical malady that's holding us back, right? That kind of thing. I'm certainly not going to get into people's health stuff or whatever it is. But certainly for most of us, we have the capability of making a decision about what our response is going to be. And I've noticed over the years, as I've really gotten into being more mindful and about creating within me this an inner landscape that I love, by meditation and journaling, and by just kind of dropping into the inner part of who I am and connecting with God, and just, sacred reading, prayer, breath, meditation, and journal it's changed the way that I do my life now. Every once in a while, of course, just like anybody else, I'll get out there and I'll knee jerk it, and I'll say something I regret or do something that I regret, stick my, foot in my mouth. But it's less and less than it used to be. And that's all because my response has mostly changed. And we get to do that by just making the choice daily to be mindful. I need to be mindful of my responses. So as things come and as stuff comes up, and the patterns, in your own home, the patterns of your relationship with somebody else, with your kids, with your spouse, whatever, what those patterns are. Is there an opportunity to pull the plug on that and change your response? Because if you change your response, they have to change theirs. They can't come back at the same thing. So being mindful is a choice. Staying mindful is a little bit more of a lifestyle change and shift, but doing so creates momentum so that for the next time something comes your way that you're not liking and that you want to just tell them all to go fly off a cliff, you're gonna take care of it just a little bit better. And it's because of the mindset shift, and it's because of the practice of journaling, getting your emotions out, and being that woman who's made a decision that her response to whatever negativity, whatever thing is coming her way, is going to be different. Especially if you have noticed, yeah, Juanita, I was just thinking about you when I was saying this, especially when things come your way. So canned response, I think I've talked about this before, but I think it's worth repeating. When there's a time where something comes up and it totally throws you off kilter, and you're just ready to wring some necks, kick some butt and take some names, when it's that kind of thing and you're just like, ready to go at it, have a canned response ready. Just pull it out of your back pocket. And the canned response is always this. You know what? I might say something I regret. I don't want to do that right now. I just need a minute. I will get back with you and we can continue this conversation when I can speak in a way that isn't going to dishonor you or me. Nobody can argue with that. And all what we're doing is allowing for the brainstem. We're doing this from our monkey brain. Remember, knee-jerk reaction is always from the monkey brain. Like, But we want to go to the sophisticated response, which is all prefrontal cortex, and it moves itself through the brain right up in here. This is where the beauty stuff is. This is where your intellect is, your ability to abstract think, and your ability to break things down and to see the entire picture. You can't do that from a monkey brain. You can't do that in a knee-jerk reaction. That's just where hot tempers live. And we don't want that anymore. If that has not served you, anybody find that hot tempers serve you? Anyone? Anyone find that just a knee-jerk reaction ever worked out really well for you? Anyone? I will tell you, never for me. Ever, ever, ever. And so coming to this place of having a canned response has saved me from doing the wrong thing, has saved me and saved me from being into the place of having an argument with Mark or anyone else. There were times, I will tell you recently, that I didn't do it and I really regret it. Came back and said, you know what? I blew it. my bad. I 100% apologize. And that's the only thing that you can do. But now, lessons learned as we go, right? Can't we learn this lesson? Can't we learn we have the right and the ability to step back a minute and to allow for the processing? When we do this, it just completely clears everything up. It also gives us that opportunity to really launch, that desire that we want, what we're trying to accomplish in the relationship. This is important because if we're trying to build a relationship, then we don't want to knee jerk it because that's just going to take it down another notch. Yeah, we can go back and we can apologize and we can fix whatever it is that we semi broke to a degree. But the place of where real forgiveness is, when we have taken this to heart and not done it anymore. That it's self-forgiveness and also from others. And we stop doing this kind of thing. It becomes less and less and less. It's so much better. And it makes you feel so much better. It makes you feel like you are the queen of your own life and you do have things under control. Lesson number 1 is something you can take to the bank. Don't forget about canned responses. Game changer. Number 2, there's intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. You know about that. There's the carrot. And then there's also just that thing inside that says, I really want this. So there's what they found in the studies, and this is no surprise to you, right, is that internal motivation is way more effective than somebody holding a little carrot in front of you. Did you know that? Of course you did. And the world's greatest athletes know this because they want something. And inside it's that thing that they want. They want to be, they want to be the next Michael Phelps. They want to be the guy touching or the woman touching the edge of the pool first. They want to be, the next Diana Nyad and swim that remarkable distance. They want to be just like this Ross Edgley who swam around around Britain. Whatever reason that they have, whatever their reason, but that's the thing, is that their motivation is from inside. So think about this. If this is your motivation, this is what you want, that you want to have a better relationship, that you want to have a more fit body. If you want to have all of this, then look and dig and find, do the why matrix inside the thing that's going to move you to that place of just the internal thing, the internal fire. That's the thing that's being stoked. That's the thing that's being, that's turning into greater and helping you to achieve that. Number 3 is we can train for anything, including the ability to endure pain. I don't know about you, but I want to do that. But I look at this as if you can train for pain, it shows us that we have a tremendous capacity to endure. We do. And that we can triumph and understand that the pain will pass. Anyone have a baby? I mean, come on. That's no picnic. But we know that the pain is going to pass. And we know that when it does pass, we're going to be rewarded with a brand new spanking human. We've all been in that place where we think that pain is just going to overtake us. It's not. It only lasts for a season. And when we can endure, then we've got resilience. Lesson 4 is to walk your own path and write your own plan. So I got a little story for you. In 1875, Captain Matthew Webb was the first person to swim the English Channel. He swam the English Channel in 1875. Previous to that, everyone said it just couldn't be done. Remember Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile? Same idea. Oh, it just can't be done until somebody goes out there and proves, yes, it can. So here's the thing that we need to get the lesson from Mr. Webb. He was, obviously resilient because he believed that to manage your body's ability to tolerate stress, that your brain could direct it. Your brain can direct the stress into what it is that you want. In other words, instead of being all balled up in stress, take that stress and use it for another stroke across the English Channel. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. Um, and also realizing and recognizing we are way stronger than we think we are, aren't we? Have you noticed that? I've noticed that in myself. We can tolerate a lot more than we can. We quit on ourselves so easily. And that's unbelievably unnecessary because what do we have, ladies? We have grit, not quit. That's right. That's what Captain Matthew Webb said. He had grit and he showed everybody. And yes, we can push ourselves. We can assess the situation. We can push ourselves just a little bit more and we can get things done. We can do hard things. Lesson 5 is respecting your individuality. I think this is so important. In other words, don't waste your energy and your time and your focus on comparing yourself to others. You know what happens when we do this? Not only do we lose the joy, but we also lose our capability to learn from someone or to be a friend of them, of theirs, or to be in their part of their orbit. If you're just sitting there and thinking, she's got everything and I don't have this and she has that, but it's not fair. Her husband's better than mine, or I don't know, whatever it is. But when we get into this comparison stuff, we lose every single time because our uniqueness is our own special strength. Our uniqueness is the thing that's going to take it to the bank. Your focus is the thing that's going to take you all the way. All the way. You are the expert. You do not have to limit yourself. All you have to do is to believe in your own uniqueness and allow that strength to come out and show itself. And I promise you, if you give it an open invitation, it will. Lesson 6, fast can be fragile and slow can be strong. Athletes know this. They know this. They know this through their training. And we need to be able to do this in life sometimes too. Because sometimes we need to be able to react fast. And sometimes we just need to sit it all down, including our amygdalas, and quiet down and slow down for a minute so that we can process correctly. Everything, though, we have to think everything through, all the way through. And that's how we can respond from a place of strength and respond from a place of resilience. Resilience is not born in us. It is made in us. We get it from teaching. We get it from choosing and making decisions about how we're going to take this and how we're going to use this particular lesson. Lesson number 7 is that fatigue slows down thinking, not just our bodies. You know how you feel when you're tired and then you get a little cranky and you say, I'm so tired. Don't listen to me. I'm just tired right now. Well, that's not the time to make an important decision. That's not the time to discuss anything. That's the time to get a good night's sleep. And I will tell you that it saves us from making poor decisions. And it also saves us from, looking like we just don't have our acts together. The last thing in the world we want to do, nobody wants to look stupid, but you will be judged as such, unfortunately, in the world around us, when we don't take the time that we need in order to process something thoroughly. We can't process thoroughly when we're exhausted and tired. So listen to your body. Your body has such wisdom, and your bodies will give you an opportunity to catch up if you just give it the sleep and the rest that it needs. We can Scarlett O'Hara it. Remember? I'll think about it in the morning. I'll think about it in the morning. Why not? That's a really good tactic. Sleep on it. Think about it. And then there's one last lesson in this whole thing. And that is that your emotions and your well-being can have a profound impact on your resilience. It's true. There was a great explorer. His name is Ernest Shackleton. He crossed the Antarctica via the South Pole in the HMS Endurance. Can you imagine? And he managed the morale of his men. They were hungry quite a bit. They were freezing, as you can imagine. And they were starting, he credits their survival with what he calls the science of a smile. Can you imagine? So we're going to understand this, and wise women understand that a smile is so incredibly important and it lifts everyone's spirits. And we're going to get deeper into this because I don't think we understand necessarily the great benefits that just a simple smile can provide. And it's sometimes it's even comic relief. But I think this is the thing that is fascinating. There is science behind that smile, and it's connected to resilience. We'll dig tomorrow. How's that sound? Well, there you go. Peace be with you. That was one more in the can, and we'll be doing it again as wise women tomorrow. What do you think? Good idea?
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.